Hey Gators and sports fans, get all your Gator talk, news, analysis, and opinions on the Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning podcast. Find us on your favorite podcast platform or watch us on Facebook Live between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. every weekday. Pod Up, because we are Gator fans. So say it's great to be a Florida Gator.
Good morning and welcome to a Monday edition of the program, Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to carry. Got a lot to talk about today. We're going to have JC his normal Monday slot. We'll have Edgar Thompson from the Orlando Sentinel getting some thoughts on Gator football, track, baseball, you name it. If you missed it, well, let's do this. Let's go ahead and bring in JC. Okay. Who's got his Thurman Munson shirt on today.
Oh, captain, of course. Well, right now, QB, I mean, if you look at it and you're willing to go in the Subway, you would enjoy a Subway series between the Mets and the Yankees because there's clearly no two teams better than them. And I think if they stay healthy, that's what you're going to see. They just have too much. Now, QB, this was a good weekend because it was very active. We had lots of tennis on Friday night, golf on Saturday. It's very active. And then yesterday I got to rest my weary bones and watch a lot of college baseball, brother. And it was really, really, really good. And I tell you, the college baseball World Series is shaping up.
Hang on a second.
I just loved it. Go ahead.
Hold your thoughts on that. We're going to get to that. But first, we got to give a shout out to Mouse Holloway and the Gator track team. We're going to talk with Edgar about it. But they not only win the women's national title, but the men's as well.
Yeah, right.
And they also won one of the indoor. Was it the women's or men's? I think it was the men's indoor. Anyway, it is and what's crazy is the last event didn't even matter. Parker Valby, who's a freshman long distance runner, all she needed was 1 point in the 5,000 meters. JC, could you drive 5,000 meters, much less run it?
Yeah. No.
Did you ride it on your bike? So anyway, it was unbelievable what they've done.
I saw some of that. I mean, I saw the dreary weather in Eugene, Oregon. Isn't that where it was?
It's always there.
Yeah. And I saw, one of our guys in I guess it was the 100 meter dash, whatever it was, pull away at the end there. And I'm just amazed at how great they are, but track and field is so hard because it's hard to, I guess, follow unless you're really in that world. But when a team wins it like this, it's just rack up another title for the spring sports guys over there at the University of Florida. And Holloway, probably the most successful, like if you just lined up coaches.
He's not close.
But there's so many events you can win national championships at. But as a team sport, forget the individual accomplishment. Just as a team, they're amazing. And I did see that. And I'm sorry I forgot to mention that. But I'm being honest with you, I was more interested in the baseball. Baseball to me was more interesting. But I love the track and field people. I think they're tremendous. I mean, those athletes are just as good at what they do as anybody that does their own respective sport at what they do. And track and field, though, is just a tough thing to keep up with because of the individual nature of all of the activities and events, I guess is the way to put it.
Yeah, it's a long season, but congratulations to them. Yeah, we'll talk more with Edgar about it. Back to college baseball. SEC is having a fine showing. Including our Oklahoma and our Texas. We can claim them as the SEC as well.
Except for that little, forget about that little 12 on their sleeve, the XII. It
won't be there long.
Well, it'll be there till 25, QB, and that's long enough. I think unless you know something about somebody writing a check, which I don't see happening. Look, I don't think the SEC QB, the conference as it stands today, the people running it today are ready for those two teams to come in. I think all that happened was they said yes, but they're not even they can't even figure out a 9-game football schedule, these people, okay? So they're not ready for Oklahoma and Texas, University of Texas just yet. They're not even – that's why I don't think it's happening. That's why I don't think – because don't you think it's funny how the University of Texas and Oklahoma together would have to write these massive checks or somebody would have to write these massive checks, and it hasn't happened, and it's not going to happen.
But I don't know why they wouldn't, though, quite honestly. It's not a lot of money.
Well, I told you why. Because I don't think the SEC is ready for it yet. Like I said, these guys just spent a week at the beach, and all we talked about was some soap opera. But they try to pretend like they're thinking about scheduling and all of this, and yet, what did we get out of that meeting? What did we get out of it for the scheduling? So nothing's changed. Anyway. Well,
we did get one thing. There will be no pods, and there will be no divisions.
Great. That's 3 years away. So that's really great. We can talk about what else is going to happen in 3 years. Let's see. Maybe I'll have this house painted. Would that be of interest to anybody? Does anybody care that maybe I'll put a swimming pool in the backyard over there? Nobody cares about 3 years. But I will tell you this. People cared about what happened yesterday in Knoxville, Tennessee. And the reason why it was so amazing was because it shows you how delicate a baseball season can be and how unimportant the Southeastern Conference tournament is for teams that already know they're there in the NCAA tournament. And Tennessee, look, tip your cap to Notre Dame. They were the better team that weekend. You know why? Because they won both those games and they convinced everybody that they were the better team. And why did they do that? Because they hit the ball. They hit the ball and they played defense and they won the games. There you go, QB. They're the better team. And they're going to College World Series. But Tennessee's got an SEC baseball championship they can hang their hat on. While they watch Texas A&M, they're going to watch Mississippi go to play for a national championship. Okay? So Tennessee just can't get it done in anything. I really honestly don't think that school is going to win anything in the next. I can't understand how they don't win this. I was so appalled that Notre Dame would win that 2 out of those 3 games.
We got a bunch of Facebook Lives here brought to you by Melvin Law. Dan says 3 SEC teams, 2 future SEC teams, and possibly Auburn in the College World Series. Jeff says UT's players and Tony Vitello are some of the most crass, rude, crude, and nasty individuals imaginable. Dan says confidence is fine. UT was arrogant. I saw a ton of people, and it's true. I was telling this one Tennessee person I know, everybody talks about this fan base is horrible. That fan base is worse. Look, all fans around America are the same, right? You're passionate about your school, right, JC? Would you agree with that? Of
course.
The difference, but I was telling this Tennessee person, I was like, look, you can say Florida fans were terrible back when Urban and the Gators were winning, when Spurrier was here, whatever. But we did not have idiots throwing crap on the fields. And I told this person, I said, y'all had a football game suspended for the morons of your fan base sitting in the stands throwing golf balls, mustard bottles, things on the field. And it happened again in baseball on Friday.
Yeah, I'm not sure I understand what their problem is. It's become one of those things that it's been so long ago since that school has been relevant in any sport or has won anything of note. They've not won anything really important. They have not been relevant since 1998, QB, 1998. Hell, I think Mississippi State actually played them in the SEC championship game in that year. That tells you how long ago that was. Philip Fulmer. That's all they've had, man. It's just shocking to me that it's just gone so south for them at the most important time. But Notre Dame, speaking specifically about that game, stole their soul. They hit the ball, they played defense, and they're pitching. And let's give it to Link Jarrett for managing that pitching staff in that third game when it could have gotten out of hand, and getting that freshman in there, that lefty who went the distance, a true freshman for Notre Dame that pitched them into the College World Series. God bless them and good for them. On the other side, you had Arkansas. Very impressed with Arkansas. QB, the number 1 seed in college baseball, the top overall seed, has not won the College World Series since when? Go ahead. Tell me when.
When Miami won it.
That was in the 90s. Last year, the number 1 national seed was the Arkansas Razorbacks. They also lost at home in their regional. And yet, here they are back in the show with Dave Van Horn. I am very impressed with Arkansas. It is not easy. You had to travel to play at Oklahoma State and turn around and play at North Carolina. You had to, if you're the Oklahoma Sooners, play at Gainesville, Florida, which probably wasn't as thought of to be as difficult as Oklahoma State, but it was with the weather and the way the Gators were playing. And then have to go to Virginia Tech, and they just killed that team. So I'm impressed. Texas is another one. They had to play yesterday at East Carolina, but so listen, it's amazing to me how some of these teams can respond, and then you get a team like Tennessee who shows up prancing and showboating and peacocking all over town and gets smoked in the face. And Notre Dame, good for them. I'm so impressed with Notre Dame, and I don't know if they're going to win it, but I think they absolutely will show up and give you everything they got. It's pretty amazing.
We got a couple of texts on the Titan More text line from Barrow. Says, "Good morning, guys. Was kind of surprised Tennessee lost yesterday, but it didn't hurt my cockiness attitude. What is up with their fans throwing trash on the field? Is that a new trend for them?"
They're crazy.
I just talked about it, Darryl. It's totally ridiculous. It's embarrassing. They need whoever, if they should know who's throwing trash, and they should suspend them. And he says he's a new listener to the show, the swampiest show in Florida. I sent you an email over the weekend. Please call me after the show. Check that email.
Suspended for the second game of that series. Did you even know that?
Yes, because that's why they were throwing stuff on. Because he called the umpire effing horrible because he was arguing a strike. And then that's when the fans started throwing crap on the field.
Yeah,
again.
I just think that right. They just don't know how to win. They can win games, but they don't know how to win. And listen, Notre Dame hasn't won anything either in years and years. I don't see that. It's okay. Look, we're going to have Auburn play today. I'm impressed with Auburn. They lost a tough one last night, 4-3 to Oregon State. But I like Auburn to possibly win that. And then Stanford should. Penders just doesn't have the pitching staff to stay with somebody like that. But, man, you looked at these venues. We talked about this. I talked about this. I think it was with you. Some of these places have great atmospheres. You know, they're cooking out in the outfield. It's a true tailgate. Then you go to somewhere out in the Pac-12 and you feel like literally falling asleep. Stanford. It's the same way with their softball programs out there.
And football.
And football. That's right. And football. Geography really screws that conference. And
JC, regardless of how far they are away from each other, it doesn't matter. I watched about 2 innings of that game, and it literally almost put me to sleep.
Yeah, it's slow.
They're trying to play to stay alive, and the fans, it's packed, but it's about 1,500 people. It's about the size of Katie's Seashore Presley Stadium, and it's nowhere near that nice. And the people just sit there. It's like, it's like they're eating their wine and cheese out there. They don't even know how to react to what's going on.
Well, now that's not true in everything. The San Francisco Giants swept the Dodgers this weekend, and you would have thought the city of San Francisco was just about to win the World Series. They do have a natural rivalry. That is the biggest, most hateful rivalry in that whole part of the country, is anything with San Francisco and Los Angeles playing each other. And they only get to do it with really baseball and football. I mean, baseball and football, because the Warriors and the Lakers, I don't really know if they care as much as far as a rivalry is concerned, but there is a real rivalry between the Dodgers, Giants, and the Rams and 49ers. That does exist. But I agree with you, dude. For the most part, it's Snorville out there. It's just sports isn't the same thing as it is here. And I don't, you get the Rick Newhouses of the world talking about, well, why don't we get the Pac-12? The Pac-12 doesn't have the fan bases. They don't have the passion for this kind of stuff. They just don't.
Roosevelt State Farm Office is a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visit ogreinsurance.com. Give them a call, 352-240-1779. Speaking with JC on the Titan Amara hotline. And we'll be joined by Edgar Thompson in the second portion of the program. We'll talk about the track team. I'm getting a bunch of texts about the internet, or not the internet, but Facebook. That's out of our control. There's not a damn thing we can do.
You use YouTube.
Well, yeah, you go to YouTube. Maybe it works, but so I don't know. Anyway, all right, JC, let's switch gears for a second. I watched a lot of golf this weekend. The Canadian Open was outstanding. And then you got your live deal going on. And Rory wins it yesterday, takes a shot at Greg Norman, saying he's already surpassed him and wins. But the more I watched it, and they had a great interview with the commissioner of the PGA Tour, I thought was done really well.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. All the Live Tour is, it's an exhibition. It's no different than somebody having a charity golf tournament and having, professional athletes there. Obviously in a charity golf tournament, you don't get appearance, but you just go and you have a good time. That's all these guys are doing. The wins mean absolutely nothing. You watched yesterday
Right.
the battle between Justin Thomas, Finau, Sam Burns, Rory. I mean, it was phenomenal.
What about Rose? What about Rose with a?
Oh, Justin Rose was unbelievable.
Oh my God! I mean, where has that happened? Where has that been for this? Oh, listen, it's true. It's 100% right. This live thing is just for show. There's nothing that I think competitively that can even be considered serious to what we see on the PGA Tour. And I don't begrudge anybody for trying to make their net worth change overnight. I don't. But the PGA Tour pays pretty well last time I checked. And if you really do compete and you want to play against the best players in the world, you don't go to play in Europe. You don't play in a sauced up European Tour event, which is all the live is. And I don't have anything against it. It's fine. But, bro, I don't want to hear people tell me that that's going to threaten the PGA Tour. It's not
at all.
The best play, right? It's not. The best players play here. They want to be household names here. They don't want to be a household name in Abu Dhabi. Okay, they don't want to be a household name somewhere in Portugal or England. It's here. Now, I know the British Open is coming up. That's a good one. That's the last major. After that, it kind of gets kind of nebulous for me in terms of golf because I used to love to wait for the PGA in August, but they moved it to May. And there are some things that the PGA Tour has done that kind of bother me a little bit with moving the TPC and taking the PGA and moving it to May. But QB, the best tour, the best circuit, the best players play here because this is the best market for it, and this is the best place to put the ball on the tee.
I was thinking the players that have left the tour. To me, the Phil Mickelson doesn't bother me that much because Phil has no chance really winning on the tour.
Right, he's over 50.
The only person, and nobody likes DeChambeau and nobody likes Patrick Reed, and they had their day. I don't think they can compete on a week in and week out basis with the players that are up there on the scoreboard now. And then you look at Kevin Na. He's never going to – I mean, he may win the Byron Nelson somewhere every now and then.
Sergio is too old. Sergio's not important.
Those guys, basically what they're doing, and I don't have a problem with it, is we're getting up there. And Dustin Johnson's the only one that bothers me. But Dustin Johnson, I think it's his mentality. A lot of people don't like him either because he's just so laid back. It's almost like I don't want to play golf anymore. I want to go fish. I want to hunt. I want to do whatever my hobbies are. But you know what? They're going to give me this money. I'm going to take it. I'll go over here and I'll come in dead last, and it doesn't matter because they're going to pay me $200, $150 million. I just don't think those guys want to compete. That's the honest to God truth.
Well, and I don't think any of them take that deal if it precluded their ability to play in the majors. And it doesn't, because Dustin Johnson's still going to be at the field at the Masters. He's still going to be at the field in the U.S. Open. He's still going to be the field at the British Open, right? Isn't that right? So Correct. That's what he's really thinking about, and that's what I guess. But for the most part, but go ahead.
Can you imagine? This week is the U.S. Open, and we'll have our Peachland Dentistry picks on Wednesday. Okay. But I just cannot wait till they go to the first tee, and Phil Mickelson's announced, Dustin Johnson, they're going to get booed to hell and back.
Well, they might. I mean, we are in Brookline, Massachusetts. I don't know how passionate these fans in Southwest Boston are going to be.
Well, JC, hang on a second. You sound like those damn announcers on TV. How many people from Brookline, Massachusetts have tickets to the U.S. Open? Maybe a handful. Majority of these people are coming from around the country.
Okay. Well, all right. Perhaps you're right. But I think that we've seen, Phil Mickelson play in the PGA and win it at the age of 50 at Kiowa Island. He will not be able, in his wildest dreams, regardless of what his bank account looks like, even after losing in sports wagering, it does not matter what he does on this next tour. Nothing will ever compare for him or for fans of him what he did at Kiowa at age 50 and when he won the Masters in 2004 for the first time. There is nothing you can do over there that would ever compare to what you can do over here. So it is an exhibition. That is exactly what it is. And it is a paid-for-play exhibition. That is exactly what it is. But the best competition and the best courses and the best tournaments will always be on the PGA Tour, and it will always be on this side, in the Western Hemisphere, in this continent.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And it's
by the way, why were you so excited about the Canadian Open yesterday? I know why. It was great golf, but dude, 19 under par. You usually don't like that.
Well, I don't, but think about it. They weren't shooting lights out until yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody was going so low. It was almost like they said, you know what? I don't know if the tour set it up where, you never set it up to be easy, but maybe they put the pins in spots that they were very reachable, low accessible. But it was almost like they said, you know what? We're going to make this damn exciting. And this is what people want to see. Because let me read you. I did a couple of, I get on Twitter just to read about this live tour. Says right here, Charles Schwartzel, he's the guy that won the live first ever event. He made more than anybody that's ever won a golf tournament at $4.75 million. He won more from a single live event than he has in the last 4 years on the PGA Tour.
It must be tough to win on the PGA Tour, huh?
Yeah.
It must be pretty damn tough to win on that tour. That's where the players play, dude. And look, I get it. Good for him. He's padding that bank, whatever. But the best golf is here. We know that. They know that. We know that they know that. And they know that we know that they know that. Okay? So that is the truth. And you can doll it up all you want. The facts are what they are. And next week, the U.S. Open, I will be like you, very curious to see what kind of reception these people.
I just got a feeling they're going to. Tennessee fans may come out. That may be thrown at them. Bottles, beer cans. Wouldn't that be something? Half the fans get escorted out for throwing stuff at Phil Mickelson. Dan says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Metal Law, those live guys aren't getting points to qualify for the majors. Well, most of the guys that have left have won majors, so they're exempt. But he's exactly right. You get points plus those events over there. There's no way to take what they're doing to enter into the world golf rankings. World golf rankings mean a lot, and there's no point structure for that. So it's going to be very, very, very interesting. Okay, real quick, back to college baseball. Charlie has a question on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel.
All right.
And it keeps going away. Let me pull it up. How does Ole Miss qualify for the NCAA tournament without qualifying for the SEC tournament? Good for them on making it to Omaha. Because I can't remember. Did they go to Hoover and lose in the first round or not?
Yeah, I think they did. Something tells me that they.
But even if they didn't, you can still by your RPI and all that stuff, because they don't take every team to Hoover.
It was an at-large bid. It was just an at-large bid.
They were the last team into the field of 64.
That's right. And then they went down to Coral Gables and won it. So, I mean, this is what we talk about when we talk about these sports, where it all matters how you play at the end. If you're close enough to at least qualify or get, have the reason to play hard at the end. Okay. And they were by that thin a margin. But who would you rather be today? Mississippi or Tennessee? Texas A&M or Tennessee? Auburn or Tennessee? Even though Auburn still got to win another game, at least they're playing another game. And listen, I just think that we're going to have a great field of teams. These 8 teams showing up in Omaha are really hungry. They are really hungry. You just gotta just see these kids in their faces when they're playing. They do it because they want something special. They want a championship, not because they're getting paid to do it. And they could be, but it doesn't really enter their frame of mind right now. All they want to do is win something big and be part of a team that wins something big and be part of a legacy. You know what Tennessee's legacy is? It's a legacy of getting somewhere, doing great things, and then ending up nowhere. And that's a shame. I mean,
and the most hated team in America because of their
they just don't act. I mean, you got to sometimes you got to act like you've been there just once. All right. Just pretend. If you don't know how to do it, pretend to do it. Just be, Vitello should take the fall for it. And to his credit, he did. After the game, he said, this one's on me and blah, blah, blah. But that's what he's paid to do, right? These kids, they're just out there. Look, that pitcher that gave up those 2 home runs yesterday against Notre Dame, anybody in the country would love to have him. Florida would love to have him. He is going to be in the major leagues. He is that good. He is that good. He just he just got it up in the zone.
Well, here's the thing,
JC. To the Notre Dame kid.
You're going to give up. He gave up 2 solo shots. You're going to give up home runs because the ball is juiced. I'm convinced the ball is juiced after watching so much baseball. Tennessee just didn't hit the baseball like they normally do. It's that simple. Give Notre Dame credit. And here's what's interesting. I'm anxious to see if Link Jarrett, who's their head coach, played at Florida State back in the day.
Is a big
is
shot.
Florida State going to give him enough money to leave Notre Dame? And then is Link Jarrett going to say, to hell with y'all, you had an opportunity to hire me after Mike Martin Sr. Retired, and y'all didn't. You gave it to Junior.
Right.
So to hell with y'all, I'm staying at Notre Dame. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Well, right. I mean, Link Jarrett, let's say, what if he wins? You think Notre Dame's got enough money? You think they got as much money as Florida State? I think they got.
I think they got a lot more money than Florida State.
Yes. So let's say they win, and then some guy, father, whoever, says, "Link, how about 10 more years up here in South Bend? Name your price." Why the hell would he want to go to Tallahassee, have to fight Florida and UCF and USF and Miami and FIU and FAU and FU and all these others? Why would he want to do that? I mean, yeah, because it's his alma mater. But guess what? Notre Dame just paid you more than you'll ever make in your life. That's why I think it's not a given that he's going to come back to Florida.
Yeah. Charlie says on Facebook Live here, brought to you by Melon Law, Shane, Ole Miss is the case study in why college football playoffs need to expand. I agree. They do need to expand, but you're not going to have the parity in football with 60-something teams as you do in baseball. It's just not even close. Joseph says he ain't leaving Notre Dame for FSU. FSU is broke as hell.
There's a lot of truth to that, folks. All you got to do is go over there and see it. This is a football program that has fallen so hard. I don't know who's worse, Florida State or Tennessee. When you look at the attendance of those games and the results that they've gotten now, having said that, Florida State's getting better. They're going to get better. Norvell knows what I think he knows what he's doing. And that quarterback, not the quarterback, but that school has the ability to recruit. At some point, they've got to get better. I think it's easier to recruit at FSU than it is at Tennessee, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. They both suck. How about that? Miami is a school that I would look closer at than maybe FSU to improve quicker, just because of the things that they've decided to do, and that is invest in their program, get the right coach in place, get the people that they need to get in place, offensive coordinator, defense coordinator, and they actually do have a quarterback down there. So I would expect Miami's program to show us more improvement on the field than Florida State's. And then at some point, they got to talk about getting a stadium, because you just can't keep playing at the Miami Dolphins Stadium 45 minutes from your campus and expect it to continue. But they are pouring money into the program. They are investing. They've got the new athletic director from Clemson. He is a facilities guy. They're going to do fine. I think Miami will be back before FSU is.
Yeah, let's before we let you go, JC, let's get to This Day in Sports, brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. Comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise. Beat the summer heat. Schedule your air conditioners tune up today, keeping you chill in the Florida heat away. Give Comfort Temp a call, 352-376-2366. Is your AC working okay, JC, or do you need Comfort Temp?
No, last night the windows are fogged back there. I couldn't even see out the window this morning when I got out of bed. My God, the air conditioner works. But
all right, so in 2019, and before we let you go, we got to discuss the game tonight. The NBA Finals, the Raptors beat the defending champion Golden State Warriors to win the franchise's first championship. It was the last game at Oracle Arena there in Oakland. The MVP was Kawhi Leonard. So tonight is Game 5. The series is tied 2-2. Back out at San Francisco.
Yeah.
I bet the Warriors win tonight, and they're going to go back to Boston, and I bet the Celtics win, and we're going to have a Game 7. What do you think about that?
That wouldn't surprise me, but Boston is 7-0 coming off a loss in the playoffs. So right now the trend is Boston would win this game, but that doesn't mean they will. But that is the trend, and they do have this weird ability to win after a loss, and they play well after a loss. It doesn't matter where the game is. So, Curry won that game for Golden State, for San Francisco, whatever you want to call them, in Game 4. It was all on him. I don't know if he's capable of doing it 2 more times. I guess he is, but Boston, you got the Warriors. I'll take the Celtics. We'll see what happens.
I don't care who wins. I just think that's the way
it probably will. Well, did we made our picks on the college baseball regionals? How did we do, or should I go?
I think you probably did a little better than me. I had all the SEC teams. I do know that. I picked East Carolina, though.
You had East Carolina and Southern Miss.
Did you see how East Carolina, they won Game 1,
Yeah.
They had game 2 in the bag in the ninth inning.
Yeah, I know.
And
my friend Bubba up in Greenville's got to be sad because they were looking at Omaha. East Carolina had it, but it slipped away. I feel bad for the Pirates, but hey, give Texas credit, man. That program is tough. Those kids are tough, and they're going to be up there, and Oklahoma's going to be there. It's going to be a fantastic game. I wish I could go. I really do. I wish I could go to the College World
Why
Series.
can't you?
I'm trying to save money and do other things. Hey, Stanley,
speaking of that, gas is almost like $5 in Gainesville.
Well, I would fly, of course, but Tampa Bay Lightning and Colorado Avalanche. We got to talk about that Wednesday. Game 1, they dusted off the Rangers. They won 4 straight games. QB. When you lose the first 2 games of the 7-game series, you have to win 4 out of the next 5, and they won 4 in a row. Tampa Bay Lightning are a dynasty. Win or lose, they are a dynasty right now with this group of players and this coach. And who's to say they're not going to win this 3rd straight Stanley Cup? That would be, in this modern day and age, that would be absurd. But it could happen. 4 more wins.
JC, before we let you go, we're waiting on Edgar to join too. My thoughts for you are, when did the Lightning show up in Tampa?
So the Lightning, their existence was born in 1992.
Okay, all right. Edgar's on now. So I have a thought process and a question for you. So you remind me on Wednesday when we talk hockey for me to ask you the question in.
Okay. Sounds good. We'll lock that.
Oh, and by the way, before we let you go, Joseph says on Facebook Live, how's the Publix weight loss challenge going, JC? Let us know on Wednesday.
Okay, we'll do it. We'll do it Wednesday. Sounds good.
JC. Join us on the Titan More Hotline. We got to take a timeout, get back, and we'll talk with Orlando Sentinel's Edgar Thompson. You're watching and listening to Pod Up Matthews in the Morning.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co., Ruse Ogra State Farm Insurance, Doreen Wiebe Realtor Caldwell Banker MM Parish. Our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, MB Listing, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Avra and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit podupwithshane.com and click the advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Pro football legend Emmitt Smith understands your joint pain.
It does not surprise me that there are a ton of people out there that's in pain.
That's why Emmitt is such a proponent of QC Kinetics, offering real lasting joint pain relief with non-surgical, all-natural biologic treatments.
Whether it's a joint pain, ankle pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, back pain, hip pain, any kind of pain, the body eventually will break down when it's under that much stress.
That stress can cloud your judgment to the point that you'll just say yes to the scalpel or yes to another prescription of pain pills. But maybe it's time for a second opinion from QC Kinetics.
The reason why I would recommend this is because the natural biologics that QC Kinetics is providing you gives your body a chance to naturally heal itself.
Restorative, regenerative solutions are here. Get lasting relief and live your life.
Call QC Kinetics 352-400-4550. That's 352-400-4550. QC Kinetics 352-400-4550.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Celebration Point is where the Gators go to celebrate with premium brands like Bass Pro Shops, Dave & Buster's, Regal Cinemas, Nike, Palmetto Moon, Medici's, and the HBC's restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, where every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 2:30, you can get the hottest brunch in town. We'll see you at Celebration Point, where the Gators go to celebrate. We're now going to go to the Titan MR Hotline. We're going to be joined by Orlando Sentinel, Florida Gator beat writer, Edgar Thompson. Good morning, Edgar. How are you, buddy?
I'm great. How you doing, man? Thanks for
We got
that.
lots to talk about, Edgar. We probably don't have enough time because time flies when you're on the program. But we got to start with Mouse Holloway. Just unbelievable winning the men's and the women's. Also won an indoor championship this year. I mean, he's clearly the top dog and on the coaches list here on campus, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's funny because Tim Walton, after that run, I think you and I might have spoken after they won the regional. And I'm like, is he the best coach on campus? I know Mike Holloway, but then a team guy. But then this happens, and it's like, he's in his own conversation at this point. 12 national titles on his watch. Now, one thing that is interesting, you get the indoor element, so you get 2 shots at it. So I understand that. But three national titles this year alone, 2 for the women, indoor, outdoor, and then the men, first time since Oregon in 2015, which hosts the event every year at Hayward Field, which Steve Prefontaine put on the map, all those years ago. They are the last team to have the men and women's team both win it. So pretty impressive, or more than pretty impressive. And it's the first national title for the women outdoor. So the women have always been in the shadows of the men. And the men won the indoor and outdoor in 2012. So that's been a while. So they came out of the shadows, man, with a vengeance. I mean, they won by like 10 over Texas and left really nothing to doubt. It was a pretty unbelievable day by the ladies.
It really was. And speaking of that, Anna Hall is her name, correct? The
sophomore heptathlete.
Yes, who transferred here from Georgia. And, they were talking about it's amazing how, usually it's just the athlete, no, you got this ability, go do it. But obviously there's something that Mouse and his staff did for her to allow her to be so dominant in her event.
I don't know the ins and outs of it, to be honest, but the guy, look, he's been on the Olympic teams. He's been coaching. He's got this kid who's at LSU now that he coaches, Arion something, I don't have it in front of me, but he's like world-class sprinter of some form. And, he coached Grant Holloway. The list goes on. They're Olympians, tons of Olympians come under this guy. And the list is growing. And, he's 63 and not slowing down a bit. I did a story on him a few years back. He's a very nice man, but he's right on point. You can tell he doesn't have a lot of time to waste. And, I can blab. So, he just wants to get to the point. But we were kind of chatting about just other things. He's a big bowler.
Oh, he's an outstanding bowler.
Yeah, I mean, he was like close to a 3. I think he balled 289. He almost had a 300. I don't know if he's gotten his 300 since then. But, yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, it's we'll move on, but congratulations to them. And it's a shame because the sport doesn't get the coverage as a basketball or a football because, like as you said, once these guys leave, you hear about the Grant Holloways in the Olympics and these other athletes, but they have these guys, these world-class athletes, sprinters, whatever, they go on and they have great professional careers, but you don't hear about it because it's not televised like the NFL or the NBA or things like that. So it's truly incredible what he's done with the program. And they're not good.
But for a sec, Shane, just real quickly, I mean, and I'm sure your listeners might have all dug into this, but just to mention a few of the kids. I mean, Jasmine Moore won the long jump and triple jump. So she swept the events. She won all 8 times she did those 2 events this year. She was 8 for 8, which is no one in NCAA history has done that. This Talitha Diggs won the 400. And then you go to the men's side, though, man. I would Fambula, is it Joseph, the sprinter? I mean, the guy. He said
that he has the best top end speed of any athlete he's ever coached.
It's unbelievable. I mean, won the 100, the 200, anchored the runner up 4x1. And if you saw that 4x1, it was almost like, Bob Hayes, Tokyo 64, man, chasing down those guys. So, and one reason I'm bringing that up, Bob Hayes, that era back then, track and field was huge back then. Track and field was a big sport. Like if you go back 60 years, the big sports in this country were baseball, horse racing, boxing. When we were little kids, they still had some traction, but we had that era even passed us by. But track and field used to be a big sport, man. And it just kind of has faded into the background, but not here at Florida because of Mike Holloway.
Yep. Are you in the market to buy or sell your home? Doreen Weeby, a realtor with Caldwell Banker MM Parish, will provide you with fast, friendly, and reliable service. Give her a call today, folks, 352-562-1411 to help your dreams come true. Speaking with Edgar Thompson here on the Titan MR Hotline. Another Gator. You and I like to talk golf. The U.S. Open is this weekend. Fred Biondi, who's had a phenomenal year, has almost qualified for the Masters, gets into the U.S. Open. I can't imagine. Now, he beat Ricky Fowler down in on the Monday qualifier, some other guys, but I just can't imagine when that guy tees it up Thursday, how nervous he's going to be.
I think a lot of them are nervous, even the seasoned guys. So you can only imagine what a young player in this situation is going to, be feeling on the, on that kind of stage. This country club, Brookline, this is, of course, like 130 years old. I mean, this is like going to be a traditional U.S. Open. It's going to be very, very interesting. The expectations for him can't be very high realistically, but who knows? The kid has been a huge surprise this year. It's the Gators have had a guy. Ricky Castillo played. Yushin Lin's played in the U.S. Open. JC really has a nice program going there. It was yet another kind of just disappointing kind of finish there, but Fred has been just rock solid all year. His scoring average, I was trying to look up, 70.1, really very stout scoring average. I don't know where that ranks, but that's got to be among one of the best in school history for a season. He was sub 70 for a while. So that's hard to do.
I want to get your thoughts too. How do you think that, first of all, we got guys here saying on Facebook Live that Coach Napier needs to go over to the track team and see if any of them want to play football like Jeff Demps and John Capel. Those guys were football players that ran track. It's a difference than trying to get a track dude to come play football. There's a huge difference. Back to golf, U.S. Open. Okay, so the Live Tour guys, I guess, are going to play. I just think they're going to get booed to hell and back. I think they're going to be heckled the entire round. What do you think?
I mean, it's a great point. I hadn't considered it. I mean, Phil Mickelson getting booed on U.S. soil at a U.S. Open, which everyone has wanted to see for so long, him capture one of those. He's 6 runner-ups in U.S. Opens. His game is not in the shape right now to compete at this. You wouldn't think at all. But then again, last year at the PGA Championship, that came out of nowhere. He showed no signs before or after of what he put together that week. He can hit shots, man. He's creative. It would be interesting to see if he got in the mix or any of those guys did. DJ certainly has enough game to do that. And I'm not sure who else I would look at that list and say, oh, yeah, this guy's going to be a contender at the U.S. Open. But, yeah, the live golf thing's kind of crazy, man. And it's going to recast the entire game of professional golf in a real negative way because they're going to get more guys. When you're seeing Kevin Na, I mean, I've listened to several podcasts on this, so I'm kind of parroting some takes. But one of them is Kevin Na's getting a 4-year, $40 million deal. So he's getting $10 million a year. He's claiming he's going to make $70 million in the next 3 years. And if you're sitting here and you're going, I beat Kevin Na routinely, or I'm as good as Kevin Na, and he's making that, and I'm making this, and you wonder what the PGA Tour really is making and providing to players. So they started this PIP thing, and then they raised the purse of the Players Championship to $20 million, 3.6 going to the winner. They're doing these things to kind of now throw some cash at the guys. But the question then becomes from the guys is, hold on, where's all this money been all this time? And the Saudis aren't even thinking about that. They're just throwing money, after all these guys. So there's going to be some more attrition, you got to think. And then what happens, Shane, unless they shorten these fields that are, 156, 144, too big. The Arnie is 120. That's a nice size field, I feel like, 120 invitational. And otherwise, you get all these guys. Last week, you had John Houston, who's older than both of us, playing in the Canadian Open. I can't even remember the last time he teed it up. You got Brad Adamandis. You had Ted Purdy. You had guys. These guys have no business. They're great players in the scheme of things. Mm-hmm. They're not PGA Tour professionals at this point in their careers, but they have some sort of status for something or another. So they're like the 12th alternate, and they end up in these fields just watering down the fields. Now, it was a great Canadian Open, great course. Rory, JT, Finau, really electric finish. It was that they delivered right on time with that performance, right? Rory winning, JT in the mix. But that's not going to happen every week. And you're going to get these watered down fields that are just going to dilute the product.
Sticking with golf real quick before we move to Gator football, Pop Stroke, which is a putting, kind of a Dave and Buster's type deal, putting deal that Tiger has opened up. You did a story on it, correct?
Yeah, it's going to run tomorrow. One's opening in Orlando today. Tiger Woods is a co-partner with the guy Greg Bartoli, Wall Street guy who moved to Jupiter in 2013. Opened this Lighthouse Cove, whatever. There's a putt there. But then he saw a way to make it a little more sophisticated and all that. This is a neat setup, man. It is really sharp. The greens have nice putting surface on sand, undulating hills. You got nice native plants and palms. It's really pretty sharp looking. It's visually appealing. And so I had a little putting contest with the GM. We played 18 down there. It was fun. And I had a 2-stroke league going at 17 and 4-putted, man. I ended up needing a 6-footer to tie on 18. But we had a really good time, and it's a cool little deal. And the fact that Tiger, he's a co-partner. This isn't just like, put my name on it. He's invested in it. He's helping design these things. And if you think back, like I wrote, Tiger always talks about his little putting contest with Pops, his dad, Earl. And they used to do that when he was going back to his childhood. And those are really fond memories for the guy. And he's trying to bring that experience to families and father and sons and people like that.
Where's it located in Orlando?
It's at Waterford Town Center, which is down by UCF. And it's, like I said, it's a cool facility. Now, like Topgolf, it's going to cost you some money to go to these things. And it doesn't come cheaply, but it's a good endeavor. Any Orlando listeners are down there, and he's talking about Gainesville 2023 might be, they're on the radar. They haven't decided or picked a piece of land, but there could be one coming here. That would be more feasible, I think, than a Topgolf here for people, because this is something that, anyone can go do. Putt is much more accessible than going to a golf club.
No doubt. At Chris Doring Mortgage, they do mortgage lending right, helping home buyers throughout Gainesville and North Central Florida. Call Chris Doring Mortgage today, 352-244-0840. All right, Edgar, last thing before we let you go.
Yep.
Obviously, they've had some huge recruiting weekends, taking pictures of these fancy cars and all kinds of stuff. But supposedly, I don't know if it's this week or next week, the Rashada quarterback is supposed to make his announcement. What are you hearing?
He seemed to really like his visit. Zach Goodall from, the Sports Illustrated venture they have with the Gators has been all over this one and talking to the kid a lot, to his credit. I get pulled in many directions, and recruiting is not something I'm dug in on that deeply, but this would be a heck of a signing. And the guy's a, top 30 prospect, top 5 quarterback prospect, good size. He looks like he's a little thin, 6'4", 185, kind of built like you, man, back in the day.
He's heavier than I was.
Yeah, well, whatever. He better be able to throw it like you. But I mean, look, it'd be a great signing. They haven't gotten the traction in recruiting. I think some people are hoping yet, still early. But, this summer is a huge summer. This 2023 class, you and I've talked about it before, is a huge class for this program. I mean, it's going to be a key to the foundation going forward for what Billy Napier and the staff are able to do. And this would be a great piece to get.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I don't follow high school recruiting. Somebody told me that they're offering him a lot of money. Whatever that means, I don't know.
I heard that in the gym yesterday. You want to know the figure I heard?
Yeah.
1.6.
Yeah, see, that just blows
Which is
my mind.
absurd. And honestly, I'm not even being a journalist doing that. I'm being like a rumor monger. No idea. Someone's telling me this in the gym. Okay.
Well, here's my question.
Report that.
He's from California, right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, okay, the other quarterback that's supposedly going to Tennessee, wasn't he offered like $8 million? You know what I'm talking about? I don't know his name.
That's what they're saying.
Yeah, I don't believe any of it.
We just don't know. Like, I'm seeing this picture of Kamari Wilson on Twitter standing next to that really sharp, like, royal blue, or what color?
That's
blue
that's
car.
Hugh Hathcock's car.
Well, okay, I thought it was his. I don't know what all this stuff is. I'm like, they're giving. Okay, that shows my ignorance. But look, they're in a battle with LSU, Ole Miss, Texas A&M for this kid, and California, and so which is out in his neck of the woods. So, Cal, we'll see. I mean, it sounds like you had a great visit, but don't they always say that? I'm sure it's a great. All these are great visits.
Have you ever had one? All the years you've been covering, I know you don't cover recruiting, but has there ever been one kid or one parent say, we absolutely hated our visit there?
Probably Willie Williams back in 2004. Remember that disaster?
No, I don't. I wasn't.
It was
was
kind of a joke. Ball. He was a Miami kid. He was over here at the Hilton, just down the block, and partying, maybe took something, is the rumor, and just was shooting fire extinguishers all over the halls. You don't remember that story?
No, I was still playing ball, so I wasn't following.
And it was like a total mess of a recruiting weekend, and put some more bad publicity for the Zook era back then. Yeah, I don't know, man. They all have a good time. How couldn't they? You're coming in, they're waiting on you. They're your beck and call, kissing your butt. That's what you're supposed to do anyway. These guys, hey, look, make it as good an experience as you can, but the experience is about to improve. I sent you some stories, the standalone on a few things, including the standalone, opening up, and that's going to give them another big selling point.
No doubt about it. Dan says on Facebook Live, that's Shane's car. That car looks nice, but if somebody gave it to me, I wouldn't want it. That's not my kind of thing. It looks so uncomfortable to get in it. Just give me a Tahoe or a truck, and I'd be much more happy. All right, Edgar. Good stuff as always, my man. I appreciate your time. Hit them straight today.
I wish I was flying, but I'll see you soon, man.
All right, that's Edgar Thompson from the Orlando Sentinel. Join us on the Titan MR Hotline. Hope you enjoyed today's program. Have a great day, folks, and we'll see you tomorrow.
1st and 10. Matthews, near side, wide open, Alonzo Sullivan. He may go. Touchdown, Gators.